So, if any of you viewers have a sandblaster, chances are you found yourself in a situation similar to this one. It's because of all this that I've come up with this plan to go from this greasy, dusty window to a fresh one that will be easily interchangeable. Time to get started. My first step was removing the mangled window. Initially, I was dreading this step of the process because I didn't want to reach into the tight cabinet with a tool to remove the bolts. Luckily, after removing one side and two corners, I was able to lift the flange and slide the glass piece out. I didn't realize the glass still had a thin film layer, so I was able to peel this off and have a pretty clean window in return. This was important because I planned to layer the stronger piece of included glass with one of the cheap pieces I got from the hardware store. Using some simple green and a razor blade, I was able to strip any adhesive material left over from the film or caulking I had added. This would allow the two pieces of glass to sit as close to each other as possible, creating optimal visibility. These speed nuts are what makes this upgrade a little bit unique. I scrounged around a bit at the hardware store and found these. Number 6 speed nuts along with corresponding 1-inch bolts and conventional nuts. I went about putting a washer on the bolt, then inserting it in the opposite direction they originally came in. I added the speed nut on the outside of the cabinet and repeated this all the way around the window. I layered the cheap single pane glass on the bottom as the sacrificial piece that I will regularly replace. I then put the original piece on the top or outside of the cabinet in case I drop anything or spill anything on it. Since the mounting hardware I'm now using is a bit smaller, it wasn't too difficult to get all the bolts through the flange. After securing the flange over the new setup, I was good to go, and the visibility was significantly better. And to top things off, you guys will actually be able to see what I'm sandblasting from now on. Now, we are on to sandblasting and ceramic coating the fork lowers that I have. If you are at all interested in seeing the process of replacing the fork seals, then go ahead and click the link in the description. I had the fork lowers separated already, so the first step was degreasing them, stuffing them with a rag, and plugging the bottom cap with a high-temp silicone plug, followed by masking tape. Again, since I'm sandblasting these fork lowers to prepare for Cerakote, I would prefer to have them as sealed off as possible. Now we get to reap the benefits of our new clean Sandblast cabinet's window. After the blasting, I soaked the parts along with some others in an acetone. I always try to have some extra parts on hand and ready to paint in case I have any extra material mixed into the gun. The Cerakote's not really the cheapest material to be painting an entire motorcycle with, so I really don't want to be wasting any. After soaking all these parts in acetone for 30 minutes, it was into the oven to gas out for another 30 minutes at about 300 degrees. While the gas out is happening, I took this as an opportunity to do my least favorite thing possible, cleaning up the acetone. Acetone is a pretty potent chemical I hate spilling on my hands or in my garage. Although it evaporates insanely fast, it also melts through things like work gloves, plastic containers, etc. It is also highly flammable, so I prefer to have it back into a safe container as soon as possible. After gassing all the parts out in the oven, I hung them on a rack and proceeded to prepare for Cerakote. Everyone says it is crucial to shake the Cerakote prior to mixing the catalyst. I'm using an 18:1 ratio and will be doubling it at 36:2 with the catalyst. Eyedroppers and cylinders make it way easier to get the exact ratio. I placed a rubber glove over the solution and shook it once again. Again, the Cerakote is a little bit more expensive than paint, and to top it off, it only lasts about 30 minutes in the gun. So I do my best to mix small amounts. I figure it's better to have too little than too much, and add more, mix more when need be. It's finally time to spray the ceramic coating. I'm always pretty anxious for this step. I'm really new to doing it, so I find it pretty exciting to see how the coating looks as soon as I start spraying it on. For this project, I ended up using 38 milliliters at first, then ended up adding 19 milliliters of Cerakote to the gun an additional 2 times. This was because I also painted some of the engine covers. I'm pretty new to painting and by no means an expert. I was really planning on powder coating, and it seemed like there was a little bit less of a learning curve to it, but once I saw this ceramic coating, I really wanted to try it out and had no idea I'd be using an actual paint gun to apply the product. But I was lucky enough to have some amazing painters who work for the company I'm a videographer at, and they gave me a few tips, although I'm still really a novice, and if you YouTube comment professors have any tips, please let me know. After painting, I carefully hang the parts in the oven to cure for an hour, at around 300 degrees. After an hour, I turned off the oven and let the parts remain hanging overnight to cool. The following day I removed the parts and inspected them. I blew the lower fork tube out and proceeded to reassemble the forks with new fork seals. I hope you guys enjoyed this. The parts look absolutely amazing. I'm really stoked to start piecing this bike back together. I get a little bit of anxiety having a bike torn down this far for this long. So it's definitely been fighting my boredom and occupying my time working on this thing. So thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, drop a comment. I always love to know what you guys think, what you might want to see. So let me know. Thank you. Have a killer day.